beat SPT.
We know they can do it.
Yes!
Let's find out. We're heading to Tomb of the Spider Queen for Super Perfect Team.
And the reason why I'm so delighted by this choice right now is, first of all, it's one of my personal favorites. Tomb of the Spider Queen. I love it as a Nazebo main. It is one of my most dear battlegrounds. And also, we could very well just see the first Nazebo of HGC China in this phase, right? Especially if the enemy team decides to go for a Sergeant Hammer. We've seen it in other regions before, do very well against Sergeant Hammer on this very battleground. What is your take on this, Tetcher?
I think we won't see the Sergeant Hammer. I think it will probably get banned out in second rotation. I don't think it'll make it into the first 3 picks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my prediction. There we go. I don't think we're going to need it. We might see the Zebo anyway, because he's just okay now.
It's so funny, eh? He was just nerfed a few months for no reason. People were going nuts about it. Myself included. I got a little agitated, I'm not going to lie. But still, all of a sudden, due to the way the meta has shifted and, you know, certain heroes now coming into play that before we didn't see, he's kind of back. Let's call it a soft comeback.
And all it took was a voodoo doll of Mike Morheim and some spiders to get Nazebo back into the meta. Easy.
All right. Are we going to see the Lord of Spooters and Toads? That remains to be seen. Without a Sergeant Hammer in the mix, picked by the opposing team of the Nazebo, I don't think it's going to very likely happen, but let's see.
Did you ever start to think about, like, the powers that Nazebo has? He has a bag of toads, a jar of spiders, and the power to raise the dead. And which one of those is weakest in terms of damage output?
Well, according to our good friend Carbod, he's keeping all his toads in his pants. So,
yeah,
yeah.
I assume it's like a bag of toads.
A plastic bag of toads hidden in your pants. You'd probably freak out a lot of people if you did that in real life.
I mean, I just find it so hilarious that frogs and spiders are weaker than an army of undead. That is very unusual to me. As we see Reina and Garrosh come in for SPT to start off their draft.
All right. So up to this point, all according to standard HGC China play. Rainer, back in the days, you know, when he didn't have his rework. Oh, Tracer for the first time. And Tassadar Tetcher. Double support. It is not SPT who opts to go for this route, who I would consider the masters of double support in China. It's their opponents.
Well, I don't think we're seeing Nazebo anymore.
Definitely not for KT, and most certainly not for SPT.
Yeah, spiders, they're a skill shot. If you miss, they don't exist. So throwing at a Tracer is almost certainly a bad idea.
Yeah.
And what are we going to be in the ban phase then? Diablo makes sense. Want to remove some of that burst that could be useful as an opening for Tracer. That's the thing. Diablo made it through the bans and wasn't picked.
Yeah, Garrosh, in fact, was prioritized over the Diablo. And I think if you look at what Kudos Top brought to the table here, the Garrosh is probably one of the... It was picked blindly, right? But Garrosh is, funnily enough, one of the better warriors to deal with a Tracer. Simply because of that taunt that he has at level 10, right? So if Tracer steps in forward too much, just a quick taunt is all it needs to sometimes blow her to pieces. However, she will have plenty of support, right? With that Alex Strasser, with that Tassadar in the mix.
It's SPT. What are we going to see by them? There's a Blaze and a Junkrat.
Some people in chat are already calling the Chagall here. Twitch chat does know it after all. I bow to you, you glorious suckers in the chat. I'm loving it.
Why do we ever doubt chat? They knew it. They knew it. A Lifebinder, I assume. Tracer, Tassadar, Cho'Gall. And SPT, well, they only have a support left, and there's only one support with percentage damage. Well, 2 supports with percentage damage. And they're probably going to go for the Neva.
Hey? Oh, now things are starting to look really spicy. Now, Ana and Cho'Gall, they have this love and hate relationship, right? Ana works with Cho'Gall. Nano boost is pretty good, yo, on the big mean boy. Yeah. But also the anti-healing against him and the sleep can sometimes really ruin his day.
Who do you nano boost here? It's got to be Junkrat, right?
I think so. Rainer gets very little value off the nano boost because he doesn't really rely on abilities. He doesn't need the cooldowns either.
Garrosh doesn't get much. Blaze, I guess, could be a pretty reasonable Nano Boost target.
Yeah. I guess it has to be Junkrat for the most part, right? Not only does it give him more damage, but it also lowers the cooldowns on his abilities, so he has more concussion mines.
Yeah, like it doesn't reduce the cooldown between the grenades. It reduces the cooldown of grenades total, so there's a good chance you could get like 2 volleys off maybe in the time a Nano Boost happens. So I mean, a spread volley, that could be pretty decent.
If you time it really well, then you could have an insanely powerful Riptire.
That's true.
Yep.
Point blank Riptire maybe, who knows?
Maybe, who knows? But man, Tetra, this is probably like only KT does this in China anymore. Like none of the other teams are willing to go that crazy, I feel. So KT busting out a pocket strategy here on Tomb, which is one of the few maps that actually make perfect sense for Cho'Gall, right? Because the distance of the lanes is so small, he doesn't even have to soak a whole lot. So yeah, Cho'Gall, the big bad weenie, facing off Ana. Who do you think is going to take it? Any wild guesses?
I mean, I always like Cho'Gall, but I also really like Ana. It's tough. Right now, this is purely favoritism for me of just like, which one do I prefer more? And they've got a Rainbow Unicorn. I'm leaning towards Cho'Gall, which is KT with TWT, Kiaru, Lotus, Timeless, and Bad.
Facing the mighty Cho'Gall is SPT with Lucky, Melody C, Misaka, Soap, and ZZH on the Ana. I think that is first in this, well, definitely in this phase, and I'm not sure if it was played by them in the last phase. So let's see what ZZH's Ana looks like. In Korea, they tried to make it work several times, even without the Cho'Gall being in play, but it hasn't really looked that good. But it was also G-Luck that played it, so maybe a more experienced team could have pulled it off.
And I have bad news for you. I think KT are about to get silenced.
Excuse me?
Because they cuss on stream.
Oh, well played, good sir. Well played.
They're going to burn that down. That is going to be a grenade build for Ana coming in.
But I don't think they're going to get silenced after all because they're bad at cussing.
Hey, there we go. There we go. But yeah, we're going to see grenade calibration coming in for the Ana at level 1. Meaning that she does extra healing to her allies if she can stack it. And increase the duration of the healing bonus to her allies as well.
Now, Raynor I consider to be one of the better ranged assassins against Tracer. First of all, he's not as resilient as some of the others. Some of the mages, for example. Just Jaina, for example. Gul'dan is also a little susceptible to the Tracer every now and then. But Jimmy, he's really tanky. And what he also brings to the table that Tracer lacks kind of is range, right? So he will be able to just slam those auto attacks in. Furthermore, he doesn't have to rely on skill shots, which is why heroes like Li Ming or Chromie, for example, have a really hard time against Tracer and actually hitting her. So Raynor, in many ways, is actually countering that Tracer quite nicely.
Here is where the issue comes in KT's team. They don't really have a great solo laner. Cho'Gall is a duo laner technically. Tracer can't wave clear. Tassadar can kind of wave clear, but he can't really trade out very effectively because he doesn't have that much sustain outside of burning through his mana super fast. And DWT, well, he's probably got some of the best wave... him and Tass combined probably have some of the best wave cleared, certainly more than Tracer in terms of support, so you can line up the enemy minion wave effectively, but once again, you're burning through mana.
Also, what KT lacks here with this composition they chose is crowd control, right? At least pre-level 10. Like, after level 10, if Tassadar decides to go for the Force Wall, they could actually just lock people in narrow choke points, for example. But before that, there's just not really a whole lot of stunning, rooting, and slowing down. So for the Super Perfect team, it should actually be relatively easy to escape heroes like Tracer and Cho'Gall. But maybe after level 10, with that, you know, Force Wall, maybe also some sucking in from Cho'Gall, maybe all that could change back then.
Airstrike coming in for the Ana, mainly for that passive 4-second cooldown reduction for the Pulse Bomb. Lucky escapes. But also, he can use it for scouting and maybe even a little bit of sniping.
Right. Speaking of Alex Strauss, I'm not sure if you mentioned it, Tetra. Did we talk about Lifebender yet?
I mean, I suggested that's what's going to be done with Cho'Gall because it's Cho'Gall.
Yeah.
But if you have more to say about it, then go nuts.
No, not really. I just wanted to highlight once again why it's considered to be such a strong and potent combo. Like, for the most part, when Lifebender wasn't really buffed, we didn't see it, not even with Cho'Gall. But these days, you know, with a lot of focus being put on those sustainy supports, like, let's say, Malfurion or Decker Kane. Cho'Gall has not really been playing a whole lot. It used to be, you know, Ancestral Healing that was taking all the show. Lifebinder could certainly be an interesting alternative this time around. Turn-in secured by SPT, and if they get some good value with this one, they might very well just snowball ahead.
It's time for bombs for the Cho'Gall. Roll back and the extra stacking runic bombs away. That's the name of the talent. So going to be able to build up the stacking process on that to get extra damage output, which is going to help when they are in a defensive position, assuming Cho'Gall can get multiple members when in the lane he is defending.
And now it comes down to wave clear, right? How much AoE damage will KT be able to muster against this onslaught of the Web Weavers? Look at all those minions, totally uncontested here. Ana, in the meantime, struggling against her Overwatch friend Tracer. There's another Overwatch here in the mix now, and Bad is in trouble. Guess who's bad? This was not the position that Tracer wanted to be in.
Well, we'll tell you once again who's bad as she goes down. Luckily, no untouchable, so doesn't have to worry about that. Anti-heal applied to Tassadar, and we're looking at Cho'Gall. Tassadar survived, though. Mentioned 50 good ability, yo.
Yeah, Cho'Gall, you know, being the defender in the top lane is okay. You know, his wave clear is pretty insane. Definitely not a misplay on his part, but the remaining members of KT, they probably should have sacked the bottom for it, not even try with Tracer to harass anyone there. And then if they had just forsaken, you know, the bottom lane, they could have probably tried to save middle. As it is, though, there is no way this fort stays safe, you know, against the sieging potential of Junkrat and Blaze.
Yeah, it goes down. First one of the game. Second one down as well from even more pressure. They were able to push that very effectively. TAS was dropped low earlier, so they were able to get some pre-damage on it that way. And now they're looking very good moving on with only one fort remaining. Reyna's going to go grab their team of mercenary camp to put even more pressure onto the already open bot lane. The rest of the team is back to gathering gems.
Yeah, and speaking of collecting gems, you know, already a mighty amount of additional gems in the pockets of SPT. They've got 19 already paid in. They've got 23 more. So while that's not enough to pay immediately, they don't really need a whole lot to actually get that done. And with all that map control, look at it. The middle has been opened and softened up. The bottom lane is no more. How is KT even trying to contest this, right? They're just spending some time defending now. They can't even prevent Soap from paying in those either. So yeah.
Cho'Gall, looks like we're going to see KT begin to make a move. They got to LEC and Nano Boost on Raider, who immediately turns around and starts to fight the Riptide. There's huge damage to Tracer, forcing her back as Cuz gets lobbed in. Anti-heal applied and gone. Clutch heal by TWT with the save.
I can't believe Melody C powered through all of this with the help of ZZH, who refuses to let him die up to this point. They not only defended the Cho'Gall flank, but they also almost got the kill on the Tracer. Melody C, I mean, the cooldown protection can actually be pretty sweet for Reyna because he'll probably get another adrenaline shot relatively early. So that was definitely useful for him to stay alive.
Yeah, for those who are wondering, Stunner is not very common. Nano Boost is a big old Nano Boost is a big mana boost for starters. Then they also gain 30% spell power, which does buff Reyna's heal if he does use it, and of course his Q. And their basic ability cooldowns recharge 150% faster.
All right, it was a valiant effort by KT. At least they themselves didn't lose anyone else here. And if there's one thing that is going in KT's way, and mind you, there's not a whole lot that's currently favoring them, it is the late game power spike, right? If Cho'Gall gets a couple of levels in, if they find that good grip, maybe with a force wall, preventing enemies from running away, then maybe with a strong combo, they can get those miracle pops, especially against heroes like Ana. So the upheaval, I think, would have probably been my go-to choice. Let's see what they end up taking. Yep, upheaval, there we go. But no force wall Tetcher.
So in theory, I'm pretty sure this would be Twisting Nether, because like you said, you need to blow up, you don't need existing damage. There it is, Twisting Nether. As they begin to move forward, looking for their opportunity to try and grab someone. ZZH is pretty far forward, needs to be careful about that.
All right, bottom lane and middle lane, those are the two exposed ones. In the meantime, Blaze is still trying to get a little something done in the top lane. This could be the 5 versus 4 time window they were looking for. Soap by now has rejoined his teammates though.
Gates down. With the anti-heal though, Juice is being very careful about where they stand. Here's the upheaval on just Raider, Twisting Nether, good damage, but the sleep is immediately
bunker, by the way,
on Sukus with the Lifebinder already being used. Cast being chased back to bunker, keeps everyone alive. Riptide is just chilling.
Yeah, doesn't even need to use it. It's probably going to be used on that keep to bring it down. Maybe the minion wave. Oh, well, that's a sad story. Sad ending for that Riptire.
It could have so many things it could have been in life.
Yeah.
And what came was a disappointment. We see the wave clear happening, putting more pressure onto the keeps, but all of the keeps are held this time by KT.
Okay, top lane though has a mighty scary minion wave pushing towards it. Tassadar Shield's already being deployed here. In the meantime, with that distraction, top can be saved most likely by KT, but bottom is gone and lost. So, they are able to unlock a winning condition here in the bottom lane. If they win a teamfight right now, SPT that is, they can march right through the gates of the bottom and finish the core immediately. So, this teamfight looked pretty good, with the exception of Bunker. Bunker just ruined all the efforts of KT.
It did indeed, putting on a fair amount of pressure. Keeping everyone alive. The Twisting Nether still landed, but then Raider just got back in the bunker and was able to tank through everything else. We see Cast the Cho'Gall able to dash away, not getting caught out here. 55 gems on just the Cho'Gall here. And guess who's the target? The Cho'Gall, and also Tracer.
Yeah.
She's squishy.
He's a rich ogre, but do you know? Can you imagine what it felt like if you had $1 million on your bank account, but you couldn't use it, you couldn't spend it, because whenever you try to go somewhere, there's already the bouncers, right? The shop detectives not letting you in.
The shop detective?
Don't you have those in the UK?
Bye. No, and also down goes Raider. Finally getting the combo off, because we're able to get the isolation and try and turn them to 61, but so with the denial. But yeah, I know what you mean. It would be very frustrating having a load of money and being unable to spend it.
Wait, so you don't have like incognito employees in those stores that are trying to prevent theft?
Not that I know of. I'm sure there is, but I don't know about them.
Maybe you never noticed them. Maybe they were doing such a good job.
Yeah, exactly. it's like bank ninjas.
Yeah. All right, KT.
Every bank has at least 12 ninjas.
Back to the game though. Can KT bounce back? They just need that turn in. That's not really because they want to win the game with it or they want to get a keep with it, but they just need to relieve lane pressure. Look at that bottom lane already under so much pressure yet again.
KT, they're still 2 levels behind, about to be another talent behind as SPT move in. 316, very risky. But they're still going to try and make the play. Goose pulls them in. Where's that Twisting Nether? Going to move on to the point. Tracer able to stay alive. Barely gets the shield from Tassadar. Now pulling back as Cho'Gall is getting absolutely wrecked.
He tries to stay safe for now. Only a blaze here on the trail. There goes the Life Binder. That's going to be certainly very useful.
Very, very nice. Cho'Gall survives. They get their own camp. No one dies. And that was a pre-16 fight. Like we already mentioned, it was very risky, but it works out in favor of KT. Baiting the Torn. What a god.
Yeah, nice play there. And without that Cho'Gall, without that Garrosh taunt, not only will Tracer be able to play a little more aggressively, but also Cho'Gall doesn't have to worry about getting caught and stuck here. Now still with the help of the Eye here, we're going to be able to scout the potential ambush of SPT. Kuz still needs to be super careful.
DDH, by the way, with the incredibly brave talent of the Sharpshooter, meaning that you get 5% more healing each time you hit a hero, up to 50%, but that bonus is reset if you miss.
Tetcher, can KT survive another wave of Red Weavers, or do you think they're going to have to go all in with this? If they get a pay-in SPT, they might very well be able to win this game.
I agree. They have 139 gems. A pay-in is not out the question. SPT is still pretty far away from their own turn-in. But yeah, I think if they get a turn-in, they can try to turn this round. But if SPT get one, there's going to be issues. Unless the pay-in is delayed long enough for KT to also hit 16. Then they might be able to fight.
Cute little Banshee micro here coming in from Melody C, by the way, making the Raider very hard to catch for KT. Now Cho'Gall is trying to tank as much as possible. Anti-healing has been deployed. The Life Binder goes through, though. Still healing despite the -100.
Bruce tanking through, drops the Twisting Nether, does a little bit of damage. Misaka is the target. They charge forward. 70 gems is applied. Tracer moving down. The turn-in has happened for SPT as the Riptide wraps around the side, looking for Cho'Gall, but he's tanking through for the moment. Alexstrasza is miles away and has already used Life Binder as the gems become just a fixture on the floor and then cease to be.
All right, gone are those gems. Press F to pay respects to those, ladies and gentlemen. But not only did they lose all of their valuables on Terminus Predicine, but they're also probably going to lose this game now. 3 members dead, no more Ogre to defend it, but they're not going straight for the core. SPT, that is. They're waiting for reinforcements. They're waiting for the Wet Weavers and the minions and mercenaries through the middle.
They try to kill off Bad on that Tracer, but they're not able to land the CC as Bad. Being a fantastic delay, gets the recall, surviving. Lifebinder, Shogal is back. Well, this is going to have to be one of the most epic defenses we've ever seen if they can pull this off. TAS, shields on Tracer, they need to go onto the core. The core is dying.
That it is. Lucky gets pulled in, sucked in as well, but a beautiful concussion mine keeping himself. And as you said, Tetra, the core is falling rapidly, and it goes down.
Yeah, TAS already used the shield, was on cooldown, it was nowhere near enough to save the core anyway. That is going to be game number 2, 1? I lost count of where we are. 2, going over to SPT.